What happened to her accent in this one, guys? I'm guessing that it's in the bathroom next to a rolled up $20 bill. Goodness gracious, don't test that thing. Don't do any research there.
We want you to choose Canada because, you know what? We're a stable and trustworthy environment, a very democratic country. We have cutting-edge infrastructure, we have strong financial support, and we also invest in excellence. My message to you is Canada is not for sale, we're open for business, and we're open for science. So thank you all for today.
Oh, yeah. Gang, what's up? We've got Melanie Joly, our Minister of Industry, saying a whole bunch of things that are kind of hard to believe. She says them though. Canada is not for sale. Did you check with the PRC on that? Man, we're open for business as long as the people that run this show say we are. Let's take a look. Melanie Joly, fresh from the bathroom, all hyped up. Where did her accent go? Let's take a look. Canada's not for sale is the message. I don't know. It might seem like we are.
Elbows up. Elbows up.
So please help me in welcoming the Honorable Melanie Joly.
Great work. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Wade, for this very warm and loud welcome. It's very appreciated. It's a pleasure to be here in Vancouver Quadra. I'm happy to see our friend Zoe also with us, so thank you for being with us. And thank you, Oliver, and the entire team at Triumph for the warm welcome. So, of course, when we think about Triumph, we know that this facility embodies what we celebrate today, which is world-class Canadian research that is driving innovation and bringing together brilliant minds to create solutions that will shape Canada's future and the world's future. It's a kind of place that makes Canadians very proud and remind us how much it is important for a country to invest in science and research. So folks, today is a great day. We're here to celebrate what makes our country unique. Trust. Trust in each other, trust in our institutions, trust in facts, and therefore trust in research and science. We wanted to clearly state, at a time where other countries in the world are taking their own decisions, that we believe in research and we believe in science. Because we know that the work of our scientists and researchers is for the betterment of our people in Canada and for the world. And because we trust them, and because we trust their work, because we know their work will lead us to better lives, we invest in them. We know the world is more complex. We also know it's a much more dangerous place. And that is why we need to work on solutions together to help to deal with the reality now and also the reality in the future. We also know we're competing with the world, and to that extent, we need to make sure that our own researchers in Canada are well equipped. So, we're rising up to the moment. We're empowering the next generation of Canadian researchers. And when I think about researchers, I think about visionaries. I think about scientists and innovators whose groundbreaking work will fuel breakthroughs for our country and, of course, make sure that our country can thrive. So, it's a great day, Canada. C'est une belle journée pour le pays. Today, I'm proud to announce $1.3 billion to more than 9,700 researchers and research projects across Canada in science. This money will empower Canada's brightest minds to tackle some of the most pressing challenges of our time in health, technology, and social innovation. We need to clap, that was in French. Ce financement, and let's think about also Huda Shafik, who is at McGill right now, designing the world's first 3D printed, ready-to-use blood test for diagnosis tuberculosis infections. And her work has the potential to revolutionize the detection of infectious disease. Are you doing that, Zoe? Every day? So, you know, we're proud of Huda. So, and right here in BC, Ana Isabel Sarkis Fernandez is developing frameworks for energy dissipation technologies in buildings. Her work will make our structures more resilient and cost-effective. So great work, Ana Isabel. Yeah. So these projects go beyond research. They're building blocks for a stronger, better future. And our funding supports every discipline and every stage of the journey. And my final point to all of you is Canada is the place to do research in the world, because Canada holds the world, what the world needs. To all the researchers of the world watching us right now, I want you to think about Canada being the premier destination for your work. We want you to choose Canada because, you know what? We're a stable and trustworthy environment, a very democratic country. We have cutting-edge infrastructure, we have strong financial support, and we also invest in excellence. My message to you is Canada is not for sale, we're open for business, and we're open for science. So thank you all for today, and let's make sure that we make Canadians proud. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Gang, I can't be the only one that thinks that that just sounds like government propaganda rhetoric. Like telling us to trust and believe in these guys? Minister Joly is zipping along this thing, man. Fresh from the bathroom, guaranteed. Let's watch the end of this. This is the scrum. What happened to her accent in this one, guys? I'm guessing that it's in the bathroom next to a rolled up $20 bill. Goodness gracious, don't test that thing. Don't do any research there.
2 questions. Format is 1 question, 1 follow-up. First question to Global.
Hi, Minister Jolie. This is Neetu Bercha with Global National News. We heard that this announcement made today is a matter of national sovereignty. You also said Canada is not for sale. Comments perhaps that may not take on such meaning or maybe not even have been mentioned had it not been for threats from the U.S. president. So that's what I want to ask you about. Donald Trump says he wants to put new 50% tariffs on copper. Does your government still believe that Canada can get a deal without tariffs on Canadian industries by July 21st? And will you agree to a deal with the U.S. that maintains any tariffs on Canada?
Okay, so first and foremost, when it comes to the latest declaration from the president in the United States, we have not yet seen an executive order. Of course, our embassy in Washington is following very closely, as well as the entire team back in Ottawa. That being said, every single journalist in the country wants to have more information about the negotiations, and my answer is always the same. We will let the Prime Minister do the negotiation, supported of course by our negotiator-in-chief back in Washington, Kirsten Holman, and we will not negotiate in public. That being said, being the Minister of Industry, my job right now is to make sure that in the context of this trade war, I'm supporting the front lines of this trade war, which are the workers and the companies affected by the unjustifiable and unjustified tariffs against aluminum workers, against also steel workers, and of course against the auto workers, and that's what I'm working every single day.
I maintain my job is to still ask the question, so I want to zero in on one specific industry. Will your government agree to any level of tariffs on Canada's auto industry to make a deal with the U.S.?
Our goal has always been to make sure that we protect the jobs, and right now my job is to support the industry, so we are working on an auto $2 billion fund to support the workers and the industries. Again, this morning I was in contact with auto CEOs back in Ontario, and I've been in contact also with the Minister of Industry, Vic Fideli, last night again on this issue. Thank you.
Next question.
Hi, Minister. Thomas Seal from Bloomberg. Sorry to also ask about automakers and tariffs. They have cut production in Ontario in response to tariffs already. Toyota yesterday was saying they may have to adjust production in response to that if they don't change. So Canada's penalising companies for such moves. When do those penalties kick in, and do they retroactively apply to companies who have already adjusted their production down?
So first and foremost, we're always open for discussion with the auto sector, maybe with the D3, the Detroit 3, so basically Ford, Stellantis, and GM, but also with the Japanese automakers, Honda and Toyota. We're having a broad range of conversations with them, maybe on ZEV mandates, maybe also on the remission system. Our goal is to make sure that ultimately we can protect jobs because we know the auto sector is fundamental to Canada's manufacturing sector and to our national sovereignty. What I'm having conversations with them about is how also they can use more of our steel and aluminum, because I want to make sure as we look at the trade war going on that we're supporting all three industries affected, steel, aluminum, and auto, and that we can work together to help each other.
Just to follow up, and are those two things linked? Could they sort of get relief in return for using more Canadian steel and aluminum?
So I won't answer directly your question because of course I don't negotiate in public, like I said, but of course we're in solution mode and we're in contacts with all the different CEOs and union leaders in the sector. These are difficult times. When we talk about a trade war, it's a term that we don't take lightly. We know that a lot of people are anxious in these sectors. We know that livelihoods are at stake. And so that's why we're really, really looking at the core of the issue while at the same time negotiating. So we can do both, reinforce the sector, make sure that there's still investments in these three sectors, and meanwhile negotiate. And that's what we'll do.
Last question.
Let me know what you think in the comments, gang. Melanie Joly, Minister of Industry, Canada's not for sale, trade war, giving in to Donald Trump, PRC, BC ferries. What a strange time. Let me know what you think is going on in our country in the comments. Aaron Canadian Looney, like, share, subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video. If you're somebody that regularly watches my videos, I'd really appreciate the subscription. We're trying to get to a certain place. Help a brother get there. Till the next video, thank you for watching this one. Get your Canadian federal politics right here. We're out.